Hi everyone, Nora Alwa here, somatic psychotherapist, social justice educator, here to provide resources to everyone. So tomorrow I am going to one of my home countries, Denmark. I am so incredibly excited to be with friends and family and eat the most amazing food that my mom cooks. And yet, one of the things that I am met with every time I go back to Denmark is this fear of not belonging. So as an in-betweener, this is a common experience. An in-betweener is someone that belongs and does not belong at the exact same time. So for example, as a mixed race person, you don't belong in the Black community and you don't belong in the white community. As an in-betweener, you might be a gender non-conforming, non-binary human who does not belong among women and does not belong among men. An in-betweener might be someone with multiple nationalities, cultures, or languages and does not belong in one of those. So there is so much richness to being an in-betweener, and at the same time, it can be such a lonely experience. So today I want to talk about identities. So oftentimes when we talk about identities or when we refer to ourselves, we think of our profession. We'll say, I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a manager, I'm a writer. Or we might say, I'm a parent, I'm a sibling, I'm a cat lover. All of those are ways that we identify. One thing that I today want to talk about are social identities. So when we talk about social identities, we are talking about an identity that relates to a system of oppression. So we either have a privileged social identities or we have an oppressed social identity. So let me give you some example. I can be cis or trans, white or Black, an immigrant, a citizen. All of those are ways that we can identify in terms of our social identities. When we talk about in-betweeners, oftentimes that might shift depending on the context. So for example, right now, as an in-betweener, as soon as I land in Denmark, the experience of oppression that I live in the US, of being an immigrant, disappears. As soon as my red passport is shown, I no longer have to think about the stress of being an immigrant in the US. I no longer have to think about whether or not I will be taken seriously as I am a Dane. However, as a brown Dane, I do have to think about it because that's the caveat, where I'm actually not seen as a Dane. As soon as I will land and they will have to see my paperwork, I know that until I open up my mouth, they will not think that I'm a Dane. So what I want to talk about is how do we find ways for our oppressed identities to rest? So I am going during a pandemic on a very intentional vacation. I am bringing my identities on vacation. That is not to say all of my identities get to have a break, but some of them will. The experience of not having to be an immigrant for a month is a luxury. The experience of being able to speak my native languages, Danish and French, for a month is a luxury. And so sometimes, what are the ways that we actually get to bring our identities on vacation? Yes, it's true that we cannot no longer be Black. We cannot no longer be queer. We cannot no longer have a disability. But there are ways for us to just take a little bit of a break and rest. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what are ways that you can bring your oppressed identities on a little mini vacation. One example could be like reading a book where you are so seen in that book. Maybe it's by seeing a friend where you don't have to explain yourself. You just get to relax. Right now for me, that is going to Denmark. So think about what are ways you get to intentionally bring your oppressed identities on vacation. I'll see you in Denmark and look forward to hearing from you. Bye.